Hi there, career women. You will be happy to hear that the most effective way to lose weight is not by following rules. Instead, it's when weight loss fits into your lifestyle and follows your rules, especially for busy career women. Basically, the way that you lose weight has to fit around you in your lifestyle. Otherwise, it will be completely disruptive, difficult to stick to, and not really enjoyable. So to have weight loss that fits into your lifestyle, the best way to do that is to learn weight loss skills rather than rules or restrictions. I mean, think about it. If you're going to lose weight and keep it off for years to come, you're not going to want to be restricting yourself with only eating certain foods for all those years to come. You want to still be able to enjoy foods that you've always enjoyed. That's how I lost weight and kept it off easily. Now, here's something that will shock you even more, but you could actually lose weight on a diet of donuts and pizza, as long as you learn weight loss skills. Now, your health will really suffer if you just ate donuts and pizza for the rest of your life, mainly because of the lack of nutrients, so I definitely don't recommend that. But the lovely thing about weight loss skills is that those skills are with you for the rest of your life. You're probably not going to want to completely restrict yourself for the rest of your life, right? Or follow food rules, but you'll be able to utilize these skills so that you can still eat foods that you really enjoy. The other thing I don't like about food rules is that whole concept of you can't eat this or that. Whenever you feel like you can't eat something, it can actually create more of a desire for it. Now, it's different if you just choose that you would like to not ever eat a certain food again because it causes you really bad reflux and it's just not worth it, right? But when you feel like you can't eat something, and you're getting more of a desire or craving for it, none of that feels good, right? You almost feel like a prisoner or like a little kid who has all kinds of rules to follow. You're an adult. There are enough rules in this world. I don't think that you need to follow strict food rules if you don't want to. Now, rules and restrictions are different than plans. So when I work with my clients, I help them create plans for the week ahead that they sort of choose ahead of time just with my guidance. So it's something that they feel will work with their lifestyle and with the specific things going on that week for them. So it's kind of like setting tiny goals for the upcoming week. So for example, if a client is going out to dinner 3 times in the coming week, she might tell me that she only wants to have dessert one of those times. So if that's the case, we make a plan around that and make sure that she is set up for success to follow through on that. I also make sure that she feels really good about it and likes her reasons why and feels that it is very doable. So that's very different than rules and restrictions. Before I dive into the actual weight loss skills, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get weekly videos as they come out. To be notified when they come out, just turn on that notification bell or the notification setting. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up button, I would so appreciate that. That's the like button. This is a new channel and every thumbs up or every like helps with the algorithm. Otherwise, no one will see these videos. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get to some of those weight loss skills. These are in no particular order, but the first one I want to talk about is mindful and intuitive eating. These are both kind of similar, but the concept really is to learn to eat when you're hungry and stop when you've had enough. Sounds simple, right? But oftentimes we don't actually do this. And that's partly because of things that we learned through childhood and certainly other factors later in life. So to really focus in on your body and learn what your body is actually feeling and what it actually needs. What sensations do you feel when you're hungry? What sensations let you know when you've had enough? What sensations do you get when you're overly full? So getting this awareness and then noticing this each time you eat is definitely a learned skill. Several benefits of this are that it prevents overeating, which you're definitely going to want to prevent if you're trying to lose weight, right? It helps reteach your brain and body that you don't need to worry, that you will give your body what it needs when it's hungry. Mindful and intuitive eating also includes paying more attention to the flavors, the smells and textures, and even how the food looks visually to get more enjoyment from the food. When you're getting more satisfaction or enjoyment from the food, you're likely to be satisfied with a smaller amount. Next up for weight loss skills is portion control. Now, I don't mean forcing yourself to eat a small amount every time. What I mean here is learning how much or how little your body actually needs. You don't know how much is enough until you start learning and practicing this skill. The next weight loss skill is planning. When you plan ahead, you're using the more future-focused part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. This part of your brain has your future and your goals front and center, rather than the more primitive part of the brain, which is concerned with feeling good in the moment. So think instant gratification. And when you're not planning ahead, you're setting yourself up to make food choices that don't really help you with your weight loss goals, and you're setting yourself up to overeat. Now, again, you could actually lose weight by eating donuts and pizza, but that's probably not something that you're going to want to do, because you're going to want to actually feel good and feel healthy for the rest of your life, right? So you don't want to be making those kind of choices based on like instant gratification, like what you want in the moment, right? Because of course we all want the donuts and the cookies and the chips and the pizza in the moment, right? But we really need to use our prefrontal cortex to think about our future health, happiness, goals, all the things that we want, right? So think about this example as far as how you can see how valuable planning ahead of time would be. So this is just one example. Have you ever been out running errands and you start feeling those hunger signals? I know this has happened to you. It's happened to everyone. They keep building and building until you can't take it anymore and you're driving by the Chick-fil-A. I've actually never been there. One of my clients jokingly said it's kind of like crack. And you feel like you have to stop and get something to eat, otherwise you're just gonna absolutely die, right? This is the primitive part of your brain. The primitive part of the brain is focused on the instant gratification, right? And it's also focused on survival, and thinks that if it doesn't get food right now, then you might die. That's not the case though, because food is aplenty, not like it was thousands and millions of years ago when it was more difficult to get a hold of. So learning the skill of, or essentially making the habit of planning for little things like this by maybe packing a little Tupperware of nuts or a piece of fruit is really key to preventing that overhunger and preventing those impulse decisions. So next is a skill that my clients have found so incredibly useful and feel that it is absolutely life-changing, along with the other skills, of course. But this one was sort of a surprise to them. Learning how to manage your emotions, and also learning how much control we have over our thoughts and how powerful our thoughts can be in creating results we either want or don't want. So it can feel fairly easy to choose those healthier foods in most situations, right? But certainly not when certain emotions come up. So learning the skill of managing emotions is so helpful with eating habit change and, of course, weight loss. But the beautiful thing is that it's also super applicable to everything else in your life. When you learn that skill of managing your emotions and knowing exactly where your emotions come from, your thoughts, helps prevent emotional eating. It also helps with cravings and helps with weight loss. And then learning the skill of being able to reframe your thoughts, or at least question your thoughts to even see if they're true, helps you with everything in life. You just learn to start feeling better because you realize just how much control you have of how you feel. For me, this was completely life-changing. I always thought that anxiety was just something I was going to have for the rest of my life and suffer from for the rest of my life, and that I had really, not much control over it. But I actually treated my anxiety in a relatively short period of time, and I had had anxiety for decades. So I treated it just by learning this skill. Actually, I'd say it's two skills: managing the emotion and then also really learning the skill of how to question and even reframe my thoughts. So those kind of go together, but there is a different tool or several tools for just managing emotions that doesn't necessarily have to do with reframing your thoughts. So I would say actually the best thing that I've ever done for myself was to learn how to do this, which is why I incorporate this into my coaching philosophy with clients. It is just so valuable, not just with eating habits and weight loss, but with everything. So confidence, happiness, stress, anxiety, even depression, also feeling worthy, motivation, commitment, so any emotion. And to go along with this, another skill is learning to improve your inner dialogue, how you talk to yourself. So that's also a large part of my coaching. When you improve how you talk to yourself, it's essentially just improving your thoughts, right? You're making your thoughts a little bit better, a little bit more positive, which will always make you feel better, right? And when you feel better, you're much more likely and much more easily able to do the actions or the inactions that will help you to create the results that you want to create in your life. So whether that's eating habit results, weight loss results, career results, relationship results, financial results, any results. All right, so next up is a super important skill, as all of them are, but that is learning to take small steps. So we like to make big changes, especially as career women, because we're go-getters, right? And that's great, but you need to break it down into small changes when it comes to eating habits and weight loss. This is so important with sustainable weight loss, which is why it is one of the things that I'm teaching at the Weight Loss You Can Do workshop on February 1st. And it's one of the things that really helped me to lose weight and keep it off and really completely change my eating habits. So if you haven't reserved your free virtual seat yet, do so with the link in the episode description below. I'm teaching you how I lost weight and kept it off in a very doable way. So I'm sort of giving you like the simple bite-sized version that I can teach you in that 1 hour workshop period, right? So this is how I lost weight and kept it off despite being super busy, super stressed when I was a surgical PA. The reason why you don't want to make big changes, and this actually kind of means changes that don't fit into your lifestyle or your personality, is because they're going to be much harder for your brain to want to follow through on. You may start out being able to follow through because of some really strong positive emotions in the beginning, like excitement, commitment, motivation. But as these emotions start to decrease naturally over time, the resistance that your brain has against these big changes is going to overpower you. This is when you'll notice that you start really falling off the wagon. And if you don't have a coach helping you with all this, it's very easy to keep getting on the wagon and then falling right back off again and feeling like you're not making any progress. Or it's very easy to not be able to get back on the wagon by yourself at all, or just to choose not to get back on the wagon, right? I hear this happening so frequently out there in the world, but I have not had this happen with a single client yet. That's because that's the power of coaching. I help clients in a way that helps prevent them from falling off the wagon, but also if they do, how to get right back on again and not let negative thoughts and feelings get in the way. Also, this actually leads me to another skill of adaptability. I wasn't going to include this one, but it kind of fits perfectly in here. Adaptability really helps with this, being able to adjust what you're doing going forward, regardless of what happened yesterday or on the weekend, or even today during lunch. Also, learning the skill of being able to adjust your plan based on changing circumstances, right? We have things come up in life that we're not expecting, and that's why you can't have such rigidity. And that's why it's really difficult following these strict rules that aren't flexible, right? That's why you really want that flexible weight loss, those changes that really fit well into your lifestyle, because life is flexible, right? You need to be able to have some adaptability and flexibility with what you're doing. So these are just skills that are learned also through coaching as well. Now, some honorable mentions as far as skills, because this is not an all-inclusive list by any means. or learning how to cook some quick and easy meals, doing some time-saving food prep, things like that. Developing the habit of doing these things over time can make your life easier. Also, learning to communicate better with significant others or people that you live with. Communication is a very useful skill when it comes to food because the people you live with are often the people that you eat with. So effectively communicating your desires, working together to compromise on things is super helpful also, and that's why it's just another skill that I help you with as an eating habit and weight loss coach, if you need help with that. All right, so these are just some of the very effective weight loss skills that help you to lose weight in an enjoyable way that fits your lifestyle and that helps you actually build habits that will last you a lifetime. Rather than feeling like you need to follow food rules and restrictions, make these big changes that are uncomfortable and that are difficult to maintain, no one really wants to do that. And the good news is you don't need to. So these skills, along with others, are things that I teach and help you master if you and I work together one-on-one so that you can have sustainable changes. Whether that is changes in eating habits without a goal of losing weight, or whether that is losing weight by changing your eating habits and incorporating other weight loss habits in there. So if that sounds intriguing to you, I invite you to schedule a free consultation with me so I can take the time to learn more about you, where you're struggling, your goals, and I can tell you exactly how I would help you as if you were my client. So that way you can see just how doable it is and what's possible for you and what's possible as far as it being completely personalized to you and your lifestyle, regardless of how busy you feel that you are or what your circumstances are. And then if you're interested in learning more about working together, we could talk about that as well. So you can book the free consult right on my website, katemjohnston.com/consult, or there's also a link down in the episode description. So be sure to hit that like button below, hit the subscribe button, and turn on notifications so that you can watch the new episodes as they come out each week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care. And remember, skills, not restrictive rules, is the way to go.
Become the person who loves her eating habits and her body so you can enjoy more of your life. I'll help. Start now by just setting up a time to talk with me by visiting katemjohnston.com/consult.